Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're about to recap Love is Blind season 6. I am going to try my best to recap the entire episodes 1 to 6 at one go. This is a disclaimer. This episode is going to be dramatic. I'm going to be upset. This is I'm just warning you guys what you're about to receive. I am pissed. I'm pissed. I'm excited. I am upset. I had hopes for these guys. I truly had high hopes, and let's just get right into it. This season, unlike other seasons, many people didn't even get airtime. Oh my god, if I was one of those contestants, I'm gonna be pissed. We never got to see a lot of them. Some of them never even appeared on our screen once. Some of them never even spoke. I'm gonna start with the love triangle. I'm gonna call it a triangle or a square now. It's a square. So we have Matthew, AD, Clay, and Amber. So it's a square. It's not even a triangle. It's a square. Right. So right off the back, we see Matthew. Matthew is and by the way, when I did my middle cast review, honestly, in my brain, I was Matthew is an ass. The fact that he wrote in his profile, hey, I'm coming to confront my issues. I already knew that was a red flag. So I was dude, don't come on Love is Blind, knowing fully well that you have only 4 weeks to find your wife, to come and say, oh, you know what, I want to confront my issues. That's what he said in his bio. Now we meet him, already he has a spreadsheet, a questionnaire of 15 questions. He's yeah, pick one question. But then when they ask you the question, you're not even answering the question back. You can't even give an answer. You just came to you're deposing someone. It's a deposition. It's an interview for a freaking ass job. They're not even going to pay anything. I was so already pissed off when he started. And then he starts talking to AD. And everything goes small. She's ready. She takes his nonsense. She gives it back to him. There's a banter. There's a connection. I'm okay. Am I misjudging Matthew? Oh my god. Matthew is a nice guy. Okay. All right. I'm about to eat my words. I messed up with this reading. I actually thought Matthew was going to be an asshole, and he's actually a nice guy. Okay. Let's go. And then we see that with the other girls, he's horrible. And then we see him talk to Amber a little bit, and it's also a nice banter, but we don't really get the in depth of that relationship. What we really see is his relationship with AD. And I'm rooting for it. I'm good. Let's go. He even says I'm not here to be a silly celebrity. I'm okay, because that's one thing about coming on TV to find your husband or your wife. You don't know if these people want to just be influencers or if they really want to find a life partner. So when he said it, I was all right, I'm about to eat my words. I messed up. He is the real deal. Matthew is talking to AD. Everything is connecting. I'm yes. I'm sorry that I was judging you, but dude, you are the real deal. And next thing he's you know what, how do you feel about this proposal thing and the relationship, the whole pod thing? Because normally I would have loved to ask you for your hand, to your dad, what do you think your dad would think about the whole thing, and me asking for your hand in marriage. And then she's well, my dad is died last September, so he's not doing much thinking. And that was funny. Bad joke, but was funny. And I guess coming from her, it's okay, right? She's the one who said the joke. And she's it's okay, we're not that close. He's okay, no problem. And then he's look, I'm ready to live with you. Says all these things, basically love bombs her at this point. And that's the thing that pisses me off about guys. You guys know that girls are not looking for so much, right? And you guys go into that, you find that vulnerable spot that the girl is hurting, and you love bomb the shit out of her and just mess her up. It's so annoying. Don't come on these shows if you know that you're not ready to find your wife. I don't get it. And then she goes back to the women quarter. She's all happy. And then it's a train, basically the bus rode over her, on us as well, we the audience, because we find out that this crazy guy has been saying the exact same thing to Amber. And Amber also is all excited. But AD doesn't know how to call it, because this season they're all keeping, their relationship to the chest, or other seasons where people are very open to talking about, their relationship. This season, everyone is keeping everything to the chest. So she doesn't say anything. She's just oh my god. It comes to her brain oh my god, this guy's basically saying every freaking thing. Because truly we find out, because we don't get to see Matthew and Amber's conversations. But then based on the conversation that, they're having in the women quarters, we get to find out that this guy basically saying everything to these women. And their names are Amber. So it's Amber, you're just telling them the same thing. Are you mad? Are you crazy? And this is the problem. So you came in with questions to ask someone, a spreadsheet, but you didn't even think that, okay, if I'm actually going to find my wife, I need to ask I need to talk to these women differently. I need to, you're saying the same thing. I'm ready to leave with you today. I would love to ask your dad for your hand in marriage. If it's not you, it's nobody else. What the hell? Now AD is at this point, she already likes this guy. So she's like all freaking heartbroken, right? So she goes back to tell him like, dude, you're telling everybody the same thing. And he's like, oh, you're talking about Amber. Oh. And you can see the wheels are spinning at this point. And he's like, well, I didn't tell her that. I didn't tell her everything that I told you, because there was something I told you about the fact that, when we were done talking, I was going to call my mom and tell my mom that I found her. Like, I didn't tell that to Amber. Okay, one out of a billion things. But AD is like already in deep. It doesn't even occur to her like this is a red flag. And remember, she told us that she loves them red flags. Like, she's a red flag. What does she do? She paints her nails red, ready to match. Like, oh, I love a red flag. What the fuck? What is going on with these women? Anyways, I digress. She goes back to the women's quarters, feeling all validated. Like, okay, he's validated his love to me. He's not saying the same thing to her. I think he likes me more. Whatever. She goes back feeling herself. Then they're having conversations again, and then she says something about he's ready to even leave with me. And then that's when Amber is like, I'm sorry, he's ready to what? And that's when Amber tells her he even said he's ready to leave with me as well. He said he could ask my dad for my hand in marriage. And at that point, the women are like, what is wrong with this man? And Amber is such a queen because then she's like, I'm bowing out. I'm done. I can't. I'm done. And she leaves the show. That's the last we see of Amber. Now, at the same time, I need to talk about the other people in the triangle, which is Clay, right? Because I've spoken about Matthew, AD, and Amber. So let's get to Clay. Now, Clay, on the other hand, guys, any of you who watch, if you guys watch Married at First Sight, there is this season, I think it was a COVID season. There's a guy called Chris Williams. I'm going to look for his picture and put it up here. I have to put his picture up here. Clay just gave me Chris's vibe. If you know Married at First Sight, you know who I'm talking about. This guy was a red flag from the beginning. And Clay just gave that vibe, this fuckboy vibe. Yeah, I came here to I'm looking for love or whatever. Dude, you're not ready for marriage. You're ready for a girlfriend, maybe. At least we didn't see that. All we see is that you're just being flirtatious. Clay is the last person in this triangle, or this square, right? It's a square at this point. Now, AD is all messed up from the whole thing with Amber and Matthew's whole situation. She goes to meet Clay, and then she's like, just basically venting at this point. She's like, you know what? He's telling Amber and I the same thing. I thought we had a connection, just basically spilling everything. And then Clay's like, he's pacing up and down. And remember, from our bio, from the bio rather, we know that Clay has this huge ego. And at this point, he's like, excuse me, are we talking about me right now? Because I'm not feeling this conversation. Because at that point, he's like, why the hell are you telling me about, what's going on with your other relationship and how this guy is two-timing you and one other babe? What does this have to do with me? Are you feeling me or not? And then she's like, well, I am, but I have another connection with someone. And then he's like, okay, with who? Guys, I kid you. I watched this scene 3 times and I laughed every single time. This is comic relief. Because she's like, well, Matthew. And he's like, oh, Matthew? He really takes this long pause to think and then he's like, I don't know. Wait, what? What the? WTF? Because in his brain, he's like, what the hell? That guy with zero emotional, because remember, Matthew is so rigid, even with the guys, he doesn't really talk to them. He's kind of in his own world. Only God knows what's happening in his brain, and Clay just cannot fathom how, one, he's losing to this guy. Two, he's feels I have swag. This guy doesn't have swag. He's like, look, bro, you're gonna regret it. If you go with this guy, you're gonna regret it. And of course he's all jealous and all that. So he's really this is, you know what? You're gonna regret it. And then she's like, I'm just explaining, I have this connection with someone else, And at this point, AD is sort of laying it out she likes Matthew more than Clay, which I think is true. At least from what we see, it seems like her heart really was with Matthew, and Clay was sort of the guy she would normally go for, the fuck boy, the athlete, and she's trying to change that, right? So I think that's why she was hot, because she really went through the process. You know what? Forget about the person you would normally go for. Don't think about race. Don't think about anything. Just go by what you feel. And Matthew really was who she fell for, in my opinion, right? Anyways, now Clay leaves. He's pissed. He goes back into the men quarters, and he's like talking about it with the guys, like, yo, is this guy, like, he's even telling them, like, if it was you guys, I would be like, okay, fine, this is what it is. But like this guy, now he's like, how can I lose to this guy? Like the hell, like, he cannot understand. Now Eddie goes back into the quarters with women, and this is when the conversation with the whole Amber thing comes in, because she brings up the fact that, Matthew is even ready to leave tomorrow. And that's when Amber is like, Matthew is ready to what? And basically Amber is like, you know what's wrong with these guys? He literally told me the same thing, I'm out. And she like dips, and that's when we never see Amber again. Like, we'll probably see her as the season goes, I guess, but at this point we never see her again, and she dips, right? She leaves. So now Eddie goes back to meet Matthew. Matthew is like, oh, like sad, and he's like, hi. And I expected her to be pissed, but she was like, hi. And this guy is like, it's been a rough day. And then she's like, what's wrong? Well, you know about Amber leaving, right? And she's like, and it's like, I guess it's about me. The audacity on this man, the freaking dude, the audacity that you're playing with women's feelings, and then you're like trying to act all hurt, like, she left because of me. And I love how Eddie's like, how atrocious of you for you to even think that it's because of you. Like, who do you think you are? Like, what? I really need to be zen because I'm pissed. It's entertaining, but it's pissed. Like, it's entertaining, but it's annoying because this is like real, right? Like, these people are really looking for like their significant other. Don't come on this show if you're not ready. It pisses me off because I'm coming, ready to cry and root for your love, because like I love love, And when I don't see people getting it, especially people that I think deserve it based on what we're seeing on TV, I get pissed. Because when one undeserving, annoying person comes here to play with people's hearts. Anyways, and then he's like, you know what, like, you're not sounding right to me, because at that point she's pissed, but she's still being a nice person, because she's like, well, yeah, she left, but like we can't control everybody's feelings and how everyone wants to like basically go about their journey here and their experience. And what did this guy say? And he's like, well, I don't like the way you're speaking, like your tone, like what's wrong with your tone today? Like, you're not, I'm not. He was just saying, like, America loves an underdog. America is watching right now. Okay. Says the person who said, I don't want to be a silly celebrity. I'm not here for the cameras. Like, I'm here for like to find my wife. And the next thing you're like, America is watching. They love the story of an underdog, because now he's trying to salvage the relationship. Now, to play devil's advocate, a part of me is like, maybe Matthew is just this kind of awkward guy. So he's like grasping at straws now. Like, hey, America loves this, an underdog. Like, I know that I kind of messed up, but like I want to get back together with you. Let's make this work. But that's like the good part of me is trying to like root for him in that sense. But the reasonable part of me, the realist in me, is like, no, he's an asshole. He's so annoying. He just came on this show to basically just try to. He's annoying. And he actually doesn't want to find a wife. He doesn't. Because if you want to find a wife, you're not going to be asking every freaking girl the same freaking question. You're not going to be speaking to every freaking girl about the same thing. Your feelings are not going to be the same. No. You're not going to say the exact words to the same. Like, they're even freaking namesakes to add insult to injury. They're basically namesakes. Like, what the hell? Anyways, now it is like, okay, you know what? Like, it's done. And then he's like, well, I guess this is done. I'm going to go home. I'm done here. And then she's like, all right, bye, Matthew. And what does this guy say? She leaves. He goes. And at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, bye, Matthew. You kind of messed up. So, yeah, go home. He goes into the men's quarters, walks in, and he's like, I'm going home. I'm going to get Amber. Mind blown. So, and all this while, you can see Eddie was kind of hoping that he would be like, look, I messed up, but it's you I want, I'm sorry. But he wasn't saying the right words. And then even when he was like, I feel bad, she was even like, are you feeling bad that Amber left? Or like, he's like, yeah, I feel bad, that I broke someone's heart. She's like, someone? Because at this point, dude, you're not understanding that it's not just one person's heart you were playing with. Lacking self-awareness. He doesn't even understand. Anyway, he leaves the show. At this point now, Eddie's kind of stuck with freaking Clay. Would I have wanted her to go home? Yes, just because like Clay is like a walking red flag. Do I think that he will change and he will want to marry? Hey, who knows? We have episodes to go, but we're going from what we've seen. What we've seen, a red flag. And she likes freaking red flags. So whatever at this point, like you get what you get. Now she's stuck with freaking Clay. She's like, oh, I'm gonna be able to fix him. 1 minute he's there saying, I don't fathom, proposing to someone if I don't know how they look. Like, yeah, love is blind and all, but like, I really want to know how you look. That's not how you do it, bro. Like, that's not how you do it. You're not on the right show. Go to Too Hot to Handle. You're not on the right show. Go to The Bachelor. You're not on the right show. You're not. The show is literally called Love is Blind. Anyways, now she's stuck with this guy that wants to know how she looks, wants to know her physical attributes. He's talking about the fact that he likes girls that have big bum. He likes girls that are like, physically fit. Well, AD is 10 over 10 in that sense, but she doesn't want to tell him, and I'm happy that she's not doing that. Anyway, she's trying to fix him. He's talking about how he never does therapy, just saying nonsense, whatever. At the end of the day, they're going to be together. He proposes to her. She says yes. They get to see each other. When they see each other, he's like, holy cow. Like, oh my God. He's happy. Like, okay, he got what he wanted. Like, badass buddy. That's all for now. We're going to go to the next couple, right? The next one is Jimmy, Jessica, Chelsea, Trevor. But I want to do Jessica and Jimmy first. Oh my God. I might be biased, because obviously she's my namesake, but I love Jessica is everything. So we see Jimmy and Jessica. Oh my God, guys, I felt like the connection was there. Both talking about how their families are, like, the fact that he had an older sister that was adopted. She was adopted in the foster care system. She has a 10-year-old. She didn't want to lead with that. She wanted to make sure that the person she's going to tell is someone that she felt like, okay, we have a connection. And so she told Jimmy. And now, before all this, they were already connected. Everything was going well. So I think when she dropped the bomb on him, like, I have a 10-year-old daughter, his brain is spinning. Because look, he was nice about it, but we have to think about it this way. Like, I didn't even, fault him for it. Because it's a lot of work. It's a baggage. It's a lot of work. Because you're coming into the show thinking, I'm going to get a wife. But now you're getting a daughter. You don't know if you're going to be, responsible financially. How close is she with her biological dad? Do you play the role of a dad? Do you play the role of a friend? You don't know what role you're going to play. So it's a lot of variables going on. So I can tell he's already, she's crying. He's like, why didn't you tell me earlier? And then she's like, I didn't want to lead with that. I really wanted you to know me for me and like me first before I bring in. We're like a package deal. And it's like, I have a lot to think about. Like, okay, this is a lot to think about. And then he goes to talk to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea has this conversation with Jimmy. To me, I don't think they are I couldn't see the connection. They look more like friends to me. But I guess he likes Chelsea as well, and he's still thinking about the conversation he just had with Jessica. So his mind really isn't on the conversation with Chelsea, right? But Chelsea's talking, and the next thing Chelsea's like, I was divorced. And he's like, at that point, I felt so bad for him. Because it's like, come on, can I get a girl with no baggage here? One is has a 10-year-old kid. The other one is divorced. And he's like, ugh, today's just not my day. And Chelsea starts crying. And he actually says, your bum, your own bum is not as crazy as the one I just received. So I'm okay with this. It's not a deal breaker. And mind you, he also tells that to Jessica that it's not a deal breaker. He just had a lot to think about. So at this point, Chelsea starts crying. And to me, that's a red flag. Why are you crying? And she makes it all about her. And he's like, it has nothing to do with you. It's just a lot of information coming at me today. And then she's like, okay. And then she leaves. And then she goes tell the ladies on her way, it just made me feel bad because I was divorced. I'm like, girl, it's not about you. Not about you. But anyway, we see Chelsea and Trevor, which I think is a better match. They're connecting. Their dogs are named after each other. Trevor is just what you call a good guy. He's nice. He's like a teddy bear. And I guess that's why they say good guys finish last. Because, I don't know, he's just a nice guy. And I think he really liked Chelsea. And he didn't care how Chelsea looked. He never asked her about her physical attributes. He never did. Even when she said, look, I'm divorced. I was married for 5 years. It is what it is. And he was like, I would expect you to actually have a life. And what he said was so smart. Because, look, when you're older, I actually expect you to have almost gotten married, to maybe even have a kid. Because if you haven't, then that's a red flag. Because it's you haven't even tried to be in a serious relationship. That's like a Matthew or a Clay with crazy other guys. This is your first relationship, So I really appreciated that. And Trevor is just a good guy. And Chelsea was happy. She said she likes him. She tells her he loves her. She's like, oh, you love me? All right, cool. Now we go back to Jimmy. Jimmy and Jessica are speaking after the whole bomb of having a kid. And he's like, look, it's not a red flag for me. Just tell me about her. He feels a little bit more, okay, now we can talk about it. It seems more light, he's kind of calm down a bit. She talks about the fact that the package deal, talks about how she met her dad, and then she explains, her life story. And my God, so heartbreaking. This girl has been through a lot. She's such a strong person, And then he's like, my parents also adopted my older sister. And then she's like, yeah, I was adopted from the foster care system, my chosen family. And at that point, you can see Jessica is like excited because she's like, okay, Jimmy's parents understand the concept of a chosen family, because I am from a chosen family and they chose someone into their own family. And now my daughter might be, chosen family in the sense that Jimmy might want to adopt her later in life, or at least be like a father figure to her. She has a dad and her dad is very present in her life. So maybe not adopt her, but like be like, a stepdad, a real stepdad to her. So she's thinking and she's like putting in all those pauses. You can see in her eyes, she's like so in love with this guy. She's so excited. She's so happy. Everything is going well. Good. And then we go back to Jimmy and Chelsea. And at this point, I think that, this is my opinion, I truly think that Chelsea already knew that Jimmy liked Jessica. And of course liked her as well. But don't do this to yourself. Don't play yourself. And I think that's what Chelsea did. She literally played herself and is going to haunt her to the end of the show. Because she drops a crazy bomb. She's like, people say I look like Megan Fox. What? Are you blind? You don't look like Megan Fox. What the hell? Why are you doing this to yourself? If we're being honest, Jessica even looks more like Megan Fox than Chelsea does. So she played herself big time. And you guys, if you see Jimmy's face, because at that point, he likes the both of them. They're both level. I would even argue that he liked Jessica more. But then the moment she says, I look like Megan Fox, it changes everything for him. He's like, you look like Megan Fox? Because she's like, people tell me I look like, what's his name? MGK's girlfriend, wife, or fiance. He's like, Megan Fox? You look like Megan Fox? He's like, yeah, people say it. He's like, when can we get married? Because that's it. And that takes away from the concept of love is blind, because you're not supposed to put the physical before everything else. And I think at that point, Jimmy's like, look, I don't even know how Jessica looks, right? And then she has a kid. This one is just divorced, no kid, and looks like Megan Fox. I'm marrying her. That's how I think he went about it. And there was nothing Jessica could do again. At that point, he was done. Because when he meets Jessica, he starts acting up. It's all weird. And Jessica already can tell the shift. She's like, what's going on? She sent him this really love note that she had written to like a potential husband years ago. And he reads it with no care. He's just like, whatever. And that's when she knew something is off. She's like, do you like someone else? What's going on? Like, do you not like me? Like, let me know. And then he's like, well, and he's so indecisive and he's like pissing her off. She's like, look, dude, make up your mind. It's like, well, I'm not going to tell anyone that I love them. I don't know yet. Like, I'm talking to two people I don't know. And then she's like, you know what? Make up your mind and let me know. And like, I love that about her. She just got up and now they're in a fight. She leaves. She goes and she tells her friends and everyone's like, you know what? It is what it is. She's crying because she's like, I really like him. But like, we're in a fight right now. And I'm sure in her mind, she was expecting him to come back and be like, oh my God, you are my everything. I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done what I did. Let's see this to the end. But then at that time, he talks to Chelsea. You know, they talk about the whole divorce thing again. And he's like, look, it's not a deal breaker. And then in the conversation, he just blurts out that I love you. And even Chelsea is surprised because she's like, you love me. And as far as I'm concerned, he only said that because of Megan Fox. I'm sorry. I don't care. That's what happened. That's it. Because if you're watching this thing the way I was watching it, you can tell he really liked Jessica. And the moment Chelsea said, I look like Megan Fox, it's like, oh, okay, she has a kid. I don't know how she looks like. Doesn't have a kid. Is only divorced. Looks like Megan Fox. I won the jackpot. Like, oh my God. And at that point, he's like, get me out of here. Like, you know, I'm marrying this girl. So he tells her, I love you. And even Chelsea is shocked because she's like, I was pretty sure you were about to break up with me. And he's like, why would you think that? Tell me you love me. Like, I hope you feel the same way about me. And Chelsea's like, well, I don't know because I was only going to say that to the person that I was going to marry. And I was happy that she said that because I'm sure in her mind, she knew that he couldn't have possibly liked her like that because he liked Jessica in my mind. So she goes back into the women's quarters and then she's like crying. Because initially she had cried that Trevor said he loved her. And now she's like crying again that Jimmy said he loves her. And then she tells Laura and then she goes inside. She's giddy, crying, whatever. And she tells Laura, like, Jimmy just said he loves me. And you can see Laura's face, like, it just sinks in, like, damn, And Laura goes to tell, and she goes into the rooms, and Laura goes to meet Jessica, and Laura's like, you need to go home now. Like, you need to go on your own accord. He's not the man for you. The women on the show this season, you guys are like 10 over 10. Like, truly, I'm very impressed with the girl power. And Jessica's like, what's happening? Because you can tell she really loves this guy. And she's like, I can't tell you, but like, he's not the one for you. He's not the one for you. You need to go on your own. And Jessica starts crying. She's like, I really loved him. Like, I really did. And then Jessica goes to meet Jimmy. And at this point, she's like pissed, you know. And he's like, you know, like an idiot. It's annoying, so annoying. He can't even like say anything with like straight directness, like just beating around the bush. And then she's like, look, let me just stop you there. Like the boss bitch that she is. She's like, look, let me just stop you there. Try and be direct. Like, do me a favor. Try and be direct. Can you do that? He's still like, And then she's like, dude, you already like someone else. Like, you let me, and I understood exactly what she's saying, because she's like, you let me open up to you. You made it look like it was okay, but I was a lot. And I think she's referring to the fact that like her family and then the kid. Like, you made it look like, all right, I thought about it and I'm good. Let's go. But then you were not really okay with it. You know, I have this baggage and you just couldn't get past it. And then she says, you know, when you see me, because then he's like, well, I've never really dealt with this directness before. And she's like, well, I'm not the one for you if you think that I'm going to be like a pushover. I'm not the one for you. I'm not the one. Anyways, and then she tells him, like, mark my words, we're going to see soon. And when you're going to be in shock. Like, you're going to need your EpiPen. I'm going to insert that video here. I have to insert that video because it's just masterful. Masterful.
When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to choke. You're going to choke. You are going to need your EpiPen to open up your airways because you are going to be in disbelief of what you missed out on.
And you can tell at that point, he's like thinking, oh, does she look better than Megan Fox at this point? Like, you know? Anyways, she's like, God bless you, have a good life. And she dips. She goes in, she packs her things. Jessica is done. And then Jimmy and Chelsea, at this point now, Chelsea finds out that Jessica is gone, and you know, so she knows, okay, Jimmy has broken up with Jessica. So she goes to meet Trevor, and she breaks up with Trevor. And Trevor tells her, like, you're really going to be with someone that was deciding between you and someone else? Why are you breaking up with me? I don't know. And I still think that she was leaving Trevor for Jimmy because she's like, oh my God, he dumped this beautiful girl for me, even though they haven't seen. I like him more. And she likes the fact that she won. My opinion. Because if not, they have zero connection. Zero connection. She had more in common with Trevor. Like, she had a good connection with Trevor. And that's why Trevor is even surprised. Like, okay, like, what did I do? Like, what exactly was off? And she can't say. She's like, I don't know. And he's like, you don't know? But he's such a good guy. He's like, look, do you? You know, it is what it is. Bye. Trevor dips. And then Jimmy and Chelsea get engaged. Now, when they see Jimmy, you can see it in Jimmy's eyes. He's like, Megan Fox, where? He even said it, like, she lied. She doesn't look like Megan Fox. She's not really his type. You can tell. But he's just trying to be a good guy. Like, you know what? I don't care about your looks. I don't care about your looks. But she keeps bringing it back up. Like, so what do you think? What do you think? The insecurities are alarming. And we're all insecure about something. Everybody on the planet. But she made it so scary. And like, dude, don't do that if you know that. Like, why did you bring up the fact that you look like Megan Fox? You messed up. Because now you kind of put his expectations so high. And now he just fell flat. And you're not an ugly babe. Like, why did you do that to yourself? Anyways, we're done for now. Let's go to Jeremy, Laura, and Sarah Ann. This is another triangle. Now, to me, I felt like Jeremy could have done with any of those girls. Like, I think he had like equal conversations with the both of them. Maybe he and Sarah Ann's conversations were more flirtatious, but I felt like he could be with any of them. He did a good job at balancing it out. So I was even like, okay, who's he gonna end up with? And when he picked Laura, I was like, oh, all right, cool. You know, really nothing much there. Laura is cool. Sarah Ann was cool as well. You know, Jeremy is a very sarcastic, funny person. You know, I really liked like the way he talked. I liked his own thought process to everything. He's sort of trying to like compartmentalize things and like, okay, who fit more into my life. And after everything, felt like it was Laura. And he broke up with Sarah and very respectively, like very respectful. Sarah Ann took it well. There were no issues. Like she was like, you know what? I wish you guys all the best. It is what it is. Bye. You know, goes to talk to Laura. She's like, look, I'm sad, but like you deserve it. I'm happy everyone is finding love. I'm like, okay, that was a good, clean breakup. Laura and Jeremy meet up. Jeremy's cute. Laura's cute. It's fine. Now let's go down to the non-problematic couples. I think, for now at least, we have Kenneth and Brittany. Kenneth is a principal, a middle school principal. Brittany used to be a teacher. They're both God-fearing people. They're both going to wait to marry to have anything intimate, on that level. Everything is going well. They both talk about losing their parents at a young age and how they've had to grow up early, and that's so true. And, it looks like they're connecting. Everything is going well. Propose, they're fine. No much to talk about there. Then we have the last couple, Johnny and Amy. And I dare to say they're my favorite couple right now. Johnny is so cool. He's so lighthearted. And Amy is, she's such a beautiful babe. Puts her heart on the line. And Johnny as well. And they are really the example of love is blind. They didn't really talk much about, how do you look? She brought up the fact that, and he wouldn't have even said anything about, her ethnicity if she didn't say, my parents are officially, from Spain, but my mom is from Puerto Rico. And then he was like, oh my God, I love your accent. And that's how he knew, oh, okay. I'm speaking with someone who is not white, I guess. And even her, she's like, I normally date, my people from my culture, but, I'm open to all races. And they never really talked about anything. You could tell they had real conversations. She talked about the fact that her brother was, on the autism spectrum and how she would have to be a caretaker in the future if something happens to her dad, and she would want a partner that understands that. And immediately he's like, of course, because if it was my sibling, I would do the exact same thing, which is facts. Love that about it. He didn't even flinch. He didn't even get scared. He went in. I loved both of them so much, and I hope they make it. They get engaged. When he sees her, he's like, you're so freaking beautiful. She's like, oh my God, I love your hair. I love your eyes. You're making out. It's so cute all around. So now we have people who are going to the DR. They're not going to Mexico this season. They're going to Dominican Republic. AD and Clay. And then we have Jimmy and Chelsea. And then we have Jeremy and Laura. And then we have Kenneth and Brittany. And then we have Journey and Amy. These are the people going to the DR. A lot. So now we get to the DR. Everyone is looking, we always have that beginning phase where they're all in love. Everyone is all happy, whatever. Trying to get to know each other. We don't really see who had sex, who didn't. It seems like Amy and Johnny do. We don't know. Anyways, everything is going well, but then we see Chelsea and Jimmy. Jimmy's still talking about Jessica. If this is not I feel so bad for Chelsea because her insecurities are just oh my God, glaring. From the sit down when they met, even before he proposed to her again, he's talking about they're talking about looks. And then now again, he's bringing up Jessica. He's talking about, hey, I told you not to tell anybody that I said I love you, and you told everyone. She's like, I didn't tell everyone. I maybe told Laura. I didn't know Laura was going to tell everyone. I'm sorry. And it's like, it's fine. I believe you, which is true. She actually didn't tell everyone. And Laura actually never told Jessica either. So, anyways. And then he's like, well, Jessica was pissed. And this guy literally tells this girl, even at the point when I told you I love you, I wasn't sure, you were my peak. Oh my God, I'm sure that I love you was a validation that she needed to go break up with Trevor. So at this point, she's thinking, she's like, huh? And he's like, yeah, I've not made up my mind. I've not. Oh my God. He's such an asshole. Such an asshole. And at this point, you can tell she's already freaking out. And she's like, no one wants to hear that. Which is true. No one wants to hear that you were not even sure when you were saying I love you that you wanted to be with me. You're not made up your mind. Jessica was your first choice. What the hell? But anyways, we get to see Jeremy and Laura. They're cute. Kenneth and Brittany, they're both, in the service, industry, and look like they're very nice people. And then we see Journey and Amy, cute as well. Everything is going well. Then it's time for the couples to kind of meet. Oh, Clay and AD are Clay is all about that ass. He's all about that ass. But anyway, time for the couples to meet. Everyone meet up. Everyone meets up, and Jimmy's like just telling his own babe, telling Chelsea like, oh wow, AD has like the ass on that girl, like, which is Chelsea and her insecurity. Immediately she's like, oh, I know, right? Like a bookshelf. AD, how'd you get that ass? And AD's like, the gym and Jesus. Everyone starts laughing. And Jimmy's like embarrassed at this point, but he's still trying to joke about it. He goes to meet her and he's like, look, I'm sorry about that, you know. And they start talking about the pod and everything. And Chelsea's like pissed. She's already feeling insecure. She walks up to go get drinks. She's talking to Amy. She's telling Amy, he's like telling her like, the buddy and her, and like, I'm already uncomfortable. I'm trying to make light of an uncomfortable situation. Guess what? When he told you he was joking, if you wanted to make light of it, you could have just said it to him and be like, I know, right? And laughed about it. You didn't have to call AD's attention to it. Why? You did that for us, the viewers, not for your relationship. And it just went, it didn't work out well for you. You keep putting yourself in these horrible situations and then you're crying and wondering what's going on. Anyways, and then we find out, she's pissed about the whole thing. She's crying and whatever. Then we see Laura and Jeremy. Jeremy's talking to Clay, and Jeremy's like, Laura told me to like be in deep AD. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then they find out that it means like use your hand to like hit your boobs or something. And at that point, it's a joke. But Laura is like not understanding the joke. And Jeremy has this mean, sarcastic sort of jokey humor. Like I think Laura is just not used to. So she's not like really having it. But the guys are okay. Everyone is fine. Clay initially is like, oh, what the hell? But then everyone laughs about it. It is what it is. But when they go back to the room, Laura is like, even whether they're still at the resort, like Laura is like, well, I'm going to pick words with you later. We're going to talk about this. And he's like, dude, I want to go home. And they're like, home, like the hotel, like the room, or like home. He's like, home. Like he's already done. And this is the same person that's like telling Laura when they're in the pause, like when I pick you, there is no going back. This is like a forever thing. Now you're already like, I'm going to go home. Calm down. Now everyone goes back to their rooms, and Chelsea and Jimmy are there. And Chelsea brings up the whole conversation with AD again. And then she's like, you even like spun her around. And Jimmy's like, I never did. And truly, he never did. He just said hi to her and they had a conversation, which really was about AD and Clay's relationship. And he's like, I don't have anything for AD, if that's what you're asking. Like, I'm not like, I don't have a crush on her or anything. Like, I just admire her, and I thought it was a joke, and we just had conversations. And if you were there, you could have found out, like, and then she's like, well, I couldn't because I was uncomfortable. And she starts crying again. This is it. Like, right now, this relationship is just doomed because I don't even see the connection. They're not compatible. It's ridiculous, but whatever. We'll get to see as time goes on. Well, I think that's all. I put everything into one. All right, guys. So we've come to the end of this recap. What do we think is going to happen from now? Like, we know we're going to see Jessica in the future. Do we think... I don't want to talk about the trailer, like the scenes to come, but it looks so good, guys. It looks so good. The fact that we didn't even get a wedding thing. Is anyone getting married this season? We didn't even get like a preview of a wedding. Is anybody even getting married? Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think about Matthew? Do you think we're going to see Matthew again? What do you think about Clay and AD? What do you think about Jimmy, Chelsea, and Jessica? Guys, let me know in the comment section. I am loving this season. I want to have like, let's interact. If you don't even want to agree with what I say, let me know. Let's talk. Talk soon. Thank you. Bye. We'll talk soon.
People think they have